Here's something that should keep you up at night. Cybersecurity experts estimate that over 70% of malware attacks now involve remote access Trojans, giving hackers complete control of your devices without you even knowing it.
That's exactly the kind of statistic that makes me want to put tape over my webcam right now. And we're not just talking about computers anymore, are we?
Well, you're right about that. These rats have evolved way beyond basic computer malware. They're now sophisticated enough to infect smartphones, tablets, and even smart home devices. I was just reading about a case where hackers used a RAT to access someone's entire smart home system.
Hmm. Tell me more about how these things actually work, because I think most people imagine hacking as this complex process with lines of code flying across screens.
So here's what's fascinating and terrifying about RATs. They're actually designed to be incredibly user-friendly for the attackers. Think of it like a twisted version of remote desktop software. Once installed, the hacker gets a simple control panel where they can click buttons to access your webcam, files, or keystrokes.
You know what really gets me? The fact that these things can sit undetected on someone's device for months or even years.
Oh, that's just the beginning. Let me tell you about this recent case study from a cybersecurity firm. They found that the average rat infection went undetected for 798 days. That's more than 2 years of someone having complete access to a person's digital life.
Well, that's absolutely terrifying. How do these things even get onto people's devices in the first place?
So, this is where it gets really interesting. The most common method is through something called social engineering. Imagine you get an email that looks exactly like it's from Netflix, saying your account needs updating. The attachment looks legitimate, maybe even has the Netflix logo.
But let me guess. Clicking that attachment is like inviting a digital burglar into your house and giving them a set of keys.
Exactly right. And here's what makes modern rats so dangerous. They're often polymorphic, meaning they can change their code signature to avoid detection. One cybersecurity researcher I spoke with said they've seen RATs that can modify themselves up to 50 times per minute.
Wow. Well, listeners, welcome to Technically You, the show that makes networking, cybersecurity, and innovation simple enough to explain to a fifth grader. Okay, maybe not the fifth grade, but you get our point.
Today's episode is going to make you look at your trusted devices a little differently. We're diving into one of the most invasive forms of malware out there: Remote Access Trojans, also known as RATs. So, what exactly is a RAT?
A remote access Trojan is malware designed to give a remote attacker complete control over an infected computer. Unlike viruses that replicate or ransomware that locks you out, rats are more like spyware with a human-like presence. They allow someone to operate your device just as you could, without your permission.
We're talking keyboard input, mouse control, file transfers, camera and mic activation, credential harvesting, and more. In many cases, the victim has no idea it's happening.
It's like handing your keys to a stranger who copies your files, watches you through your camera, and installs more malware while you're asleep.
Okay, let's break down their core mechanics, starting with infection vector. Most rats are delivered via phishing emails, malicious websites, or bundled with cracked software. Sometimes they're even installed by insiders. Second, there is installation and persistence. Once installed, the rat hides itself, often using rootkit techniques or code obfuscation, and establishes persistence so it runs at every startup. Third, there is the C2 communication. The malware then connects back to a command and control C2 server where the attacker issues commands. And finally, there's execution. The attacker now has remote shell access and can do things like disable antivirus, exfiltrate files, or spy on the user.
And many modern rats are modular. That means the hacker can add capabilities on demand, like keyloggers, ransomware, or screen capture modules.
Here's where it gets chilling. Rats have been used in cyberstalking. Hackers gain access to webcams or microphones; corporate espionage. Spies steal confidential designs, trade secrets, or intellectual property; state-sponsored attacks. Governments have used RATs to infiltrate critical infrastructure or dissident networks. Botnet creation. Infected machines become part of a larger network for distributed attacks or crypto mining.
Rats have been around for a long time. Think back to 2014, when the Blackshades RAT was found on over 500,000 computers in over 100 countries. Attackers used it to access webcams, steal login credentials, and launch ransomware. The FBI's takedown of the network was one of the biggest cyber busts at the time.
Some of the most well-known RATs include njRAT, popular among Arabic-speaking hackers, can control mouse, check keyboard, access webcams, and steal credentials. DarkComet, discontinued by its creator after misuse but still active in the wild. Remcos, marketed as a legitimate admin tool but widely abused by criminals. QuasarRAT, open source and used in advanced persistent threats. APT.
Now let's talk about one of the newer rats that's been making headlines among security researchers, ResolverRAT.
Yeah, ResolverRAT isn't some basement hacker's toy. This is a professionally coded, highly stealthy rat that's been used in targeted cyber espionage campaigns, particularly across South and Southeast Asia.
It first gained attention in 2022 when it was linked to a threat actor known as Mysterious Elephant, likely a state-sponsored group. What makes ResolverERAT different is that it masks its traffic using Microsoft's legitimate cloud services, like OneDrive, to exfiltrate stolen data.
Right? So instead of using a sketchy command and control server that might get flagged, ResolverRAT sends data through trusted cloud platforms, making it harder to detect. It's like a thief walking out of the bank wearing a security guard uniform.
Technically speaking, ResolverERAT has some serious features: file exfiltration, screen captures, microphone and camera access, credential theft, process and registry manipulation, and self-deletion capabilities to erase evidence after an attack.
Plus, ResolverRAT is often deployed alongside other malware, like unknowingly, which helps maintain persistence and gather system info. This kind of multi-tool combo is a hallmark of advanced persistent threats, or APTS.
If you're in a business dealing with sensitive intellectual property, defense contracts, or international operations, ResolverERAT is the kind of threat you need to know about.
It also highlights a bigger trend. Cyber attackers are abusing legitimate services to blend in. Your firewalls may trust Microsoft OneDrive, but ResolverRAT exploits that trust to slip under the radar.
ResolverERAT isn't your average rat. It's sophisticated, evasive, and dangerous. And it's part of a growing wave of malware that's getting harder to detect with traditional defenses.
Which makes this the perfect time to upgrade your cybersecurity stack with cloud-aware monitoring, threat intelligence feeds, and zero-trust policies.
Because if you think cyber criminals are getting lazier, you haven't met ResolverERAT.
So, what delivery techniques are cyber criminals using to infect our devices?
Cyber criminals are constantly evolving how they deliver RATs. Beyond phishing emails, they're using drive-by downloads. Just visiting a malicious site can trigger infection. Malvertising, fake ads that serve rat payloads. Supply chain attacks, RATs, are embedded into legitimate software updates or downloads. Fake software updates, your Flash player is outdated. Click that, and you've got a rat.
Social engineering also plays a huge role. Attackers often disguise rats as resumes, invoices, or support documents tailored to the victim.
So, how do you know if you're infected? Some warning signs include unusual network traffic when you're idle, webcam light turning on unexpectedly, new startup programs, device running hot or slow, mouse or screen behaving on its own.
Tools like Process Explorer, Wireshark, and Autoruns can help tech-savvy users spot rat activity. But for most people, having a reputable antivirus with behavioral monitoring is key.
Here's how to fight back. Enable firewalls, block outgoing connections from unknown apps. Don't download pirated content or unknown attachments. Update your OS and software regularly. Use endpoint detection and response, EDR, in business environments. Segment networks. So if one device gets infected, it doesn't spread.
For enterprises, zero trust architecture, multi-factor authentication, and user behavior analytics are becoming standard defenses against RATs and other intrusions.
The bottom line? Remote access Trojans turn your computer into a spying tool for cyber criminals, and they're becoming stealthier and more dangerous every year.
But the more you know, the better you can defend yourself. Cybersecurity isn't about paranoia. It's about preparation.
Thanks for listening to Technically You. If this episode creeped you out a bit, that's okay. It means you're paying attention. Follow us for more dives into cybersecurity and tech.
And don't forget, stay aware, stay secure, and as always, stay curious.